Yeah. Good afternoon to all. Welcome to the fourth day, second session on FDP on academic writing. Today we have the session on thesis writing by Dr. Paresh Tanna, professor in computer engineering, IT, MCA, School of Engineering, RK University, Gujarat. So he is having more than 15 years of experience in teaching and research. He served as a reviewer in various international conferences and journals. Sir also published more than 25 research papers in reputed, peer-reviewed, and Scopus-indexed international journals and conferences. He is also recognized as a Microsoft certified professional. He guided 6 PhD scholars for their research work. He served as an expert in PhD review committees and also in ACT hackathon event. He is recognized as 3 times as a silver level partner faculty and bronze level partner faculty by Infosys. Recently, he received his Best Paper Award in the international conference ICT IE 2022. Behalf of the organizing committee, behalf of the St. Joseph Engineering College, hearty welcome you, sir. I also welcome all the participants for this particular session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let me have
you can
my screen. Yeah, yes, sir. You need to stop. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sure. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Very good afternoon, all. Myself, Dr. Paresh Tanna, professor in RK University. Let's discuss something about the thesis writing. Majority of us are working on the research part. So at the end of the research, we are supposed to have a thesis to be written in a proper way. So I'm just going to discuss the things with the examples and the kind of components that are required to be managed during writing the thesis. Hope it will help you a lot during your writing or your students' writing also. As we all know, generally, this is a kind of document that is supposed to be submitted by candidate for academic degree or professional qualification, and that shows the author's research and findings. Now, let's have some fun part here. Here, we are having some good news. The good news is that if you talk about the PhD scholars, then the good news is that you only have to write one thesis. Yeah, except you go for more after PhD, then it is fine. Otherwise, you are supposed to write one thesis. And of course, as a result, at the end, you can add doctor to your name. That shows you the upgrades on plan. But during research, it finds like suitable for us to manage the work and all. But if you go for the thesis writing, then few people believe that it's a bad news because you are supposed to write thesis and it's really hard, painful work. If you start to write at the end, and if you consider the thesis, it is not a kind of marketable skill, just like other skills that you are achieving. For this thesis writing, you are supposed to refer many other documents, thesis papers, other theses, and guidance from your colleagues as well as your professors, supervisors, and all. So some people, we can say that they never managed to write the thesis. Like this is my aspiration. That's the 90% of people are believing that we will write the thesis at the end. and might be possible 1% of them are inspired to be written in the beginning. Now, let's say we are inspired to write the thesis. Then the question is, when do I start? Is it fine if I start 6 months before the end of my grant, means before completing my PhD degree? Is it feasible to write it before 6 months? The question might be says yes or no for few people. But I believe that it's no. You may start writing your thesis from the day one of your starting the PhD. Of course, it is going to be too much difficult, but with the guidance and with the efforts, if you are going to apply, with that, you may have your thesis to be written at the starting of the PhD or max to max. Next, after starting the PhD, you may have 6 months later, you can start with your thesis writing. Still, don't worry, if you are not started, if you are dealing with the thesis writing, it's never too late to start. But once you start, don't stop it, because linking to the chapters, linking to the content, whatever you are referring in the thesis is supposed to be managed properly. For example, let's say I started to write my thesis in the month of January, second week, let's say, and next to that 2 to 3 weeks in the Feb, I was too much engaged, and then I started to write again in the March. So this gap may create some confusion or may create some repetitive text into the thesis, or it required some time to refer the already written content. It is better suggested to refer the thesis writing from the starting of the PhD. What thesis just people aspects or we are expecting from the thesis, or if you are supposed to write, or if you are going to refer the other thesis, what you are supposed to get there? Generally, you are supposed to get the new area that are open for the people. You may find the new framework that has been proposed by the people, or you may get the resolution for the long-standing question, or it may explore some thoroughly your idea, or if you are going to refer other theses, this may upgrade your knowledge or may conflict with your knowledge also. Because if we believe that whatever we have did, that's the only truth, that's the only fact in the current scenario, and that's exactly not true. Because there are many people across the globe, they are working for the same topic. We might or might not know about the same. So to upgrade our knowledge, or whatever the research we have did or we are doing presently, you need to refer continuously. It also provides you the somewhat validates related to your experiment or the theory that you are being referred. May produce some ambitious systems, provide some empirical data. Sometimes, especially if you talk about the algorithm, that may provide the superior version of your existing algorithm. If you talk about the computer science or any other field, then as of now, many people are doing the research for the newer algorithms. Some way you may find the new methodology also. Like if you go for the as of now, if you go for the attendance system compared to the previous one, now we are having the thumb impression, as well as we are having the eye scanning. We are also having the like the Aadhaar card based attendance. So this is what the methodology that we are finding. Of course, few people may have suggested the new tool also. Sometimes you are working on your customized tool, but if you explore the thesis, then you may find the new tool that few people may already use it, may have already explored it, that may be used for your study also. You can refer it, you can use it for your study as well. And sometimes you may find the positive or negative result. See, don't expect negative result or always positive result from the thesis, because the research may move to the positive side. It is a wrong belief, because people, those who have done the proper work, and we are going to challenge that work. In that case, might be possible that person has done the best work. So you can't beat that work. In that case, you may find the negative result also. Now, those who are supposed to write their thesis, in general cases, they might find these are the different components related to their thesis. So they are supposed to write this component in that thesis. Title page, certificate that has been finalized by the university, declaration statement, acknowledgement, then table of content, list of tables. Of course, it gives you the highlight about the table, how many tables that you are using, list of figures, list of symbols, abbreviations, nomenclatures, abstract. One of the important part that people are as of now using is graphical abstract. This graphical abstract gives you the overall highlight of your 3 to 4 years work. So people may go through this graphical abstract, and whether they need to go in detail with this thesis or not, they can get the conclusion as well. So being a PhD scholar, if you are referring this content, I suggest you must include the graphical abstract, and you may design it in such a way that you can attract the people to read your thesis in much detail. Then thesis also includes the introduction, review of literature, objectives, materials and methods related to your research work, findings into the form of results. What are the findings you have done in the results part? The discussion will be followed in that case. Then your conclusion, that means concluding remarks related to the work that you have done, or the shortfall that has been found, or the future work that you can do. References, what are the references that you have followed? I also suggest you to add the list of publications that you have done during your study, because these are also part of your study, and you may attract the people to cite this publication into their own research. So it increases the readability of your thesis as well as your papers, and this may help you to increase the number of citations, and of course, at the end, you are supposed to get the H index and all are supposed to be higher. And last, you may have the appendices. Now, if you talk about the title page and cover page, what it may include? We'll cover all these things along with the kind of topics that you may cover, kind of remarks, as well as kind of narrations or kind of precautions that you may have during writing the thesis. So you may not have any mistake at the time of writing the thesis. Generally, title page is being finalized by the university with its own format, but it includes titles, or it may have the subtitle related to your thesis, author institution, department, date of delivery or month of delivery on which you are supposed to submit it, your mentor's detail, your advisor, and their institution, and in some cases, they may include contact details like into the form of email addresses also. The reason to include these details may again help you or may help other people to contact with you. Let's say what are the research that you have done, and people are interested to invite you as expert in their own seminar or workshop, or they want to give you some kind of thesis evaluation, or they want to invite you as a subject expert during their research committee. So all these things may help them based on the work that you have done and what are the presentations you have given into the form of thesis. So generally, title page and cover page belongs to the same. Cover page will include the front page. Generally, we are going to print the thesis in the hardbound. So what are the front page will be there? That means the hardbound page will be there. Embossed part, that will be an embossed pattern. So that this include these details also. Of course, you must go through the, I will just first go through the kind of first set of documents that you may require to be ready at the time of submitting the thesis. So this is the kind of format that generally a university may have, which includes the signature of your supervisor. If you have been assigned a co-supervisor, then again the sign and details of them also, and respective dean to whom you belong as a scholar. Whatever the content, what are the things, or what are the resources, or the patterns, data, anything that you have used, material, methods, person's name, whatever you have used, that is being declared into the declaration part. So people are just considering this one as a formality, but if you go through the content reading, whatever the university is giving into this form, you can find that this shows you the kind of what are the things you have used during your research. It has been highlighted there. So you are not alone as a researcher can do the work. You may have referred department, you may have referred the mechanisms, you may have referred the people from the department, resources, or you have gone through some government resources. So everything that you have done, you are supposed to share that You are not going to copy it directly here. You are declaring here. So if you quote by copying the content from others into your own thesis, this declaration shows that university may cancel your degree also. Okay, so here you are binded with your own signature that you have not done any kind of such unethical work, and then university may permit you for the further step. Acknowledgements. Generally in this section, we are expected to acknowledge all the funding agencies, institutes, or people from whom he or she has received help during the doctoral studies. Means during PhD, whomever has helped you, either is a body, agency, institute, or people, you can acknowledge them here. Next and important part is the table of contents. We are supposed to have all the headings and subheadings with page numbers in this. As well as you are supposed to manage the indentation also for the subheadings. So you can say it's a kind of mirror copy of the reference book that you are referring during your teaching. If you consider any standard reference book, you may find headings and subheadings related to the chapters and its subunits. For example, if you consider the thesis, so in general case, you may have the list of tables, then list of tables, then symbols, abbreviations, then abstract and graphical abstract. So if you refer this part here, these are the documents that are supposed to be in Roman numbers, and then here you may find the numerical ones. So if you consider, let's say, introduction, so what are the subsection will be there? That will be with the in Arabic numbers like 1, then 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So if people, any of the reader is interested to read about, let's say, 3.1, then he or she can directly move to that page number by reading your thesis. I have gone through few theses that people are just giving the main heading with the page number. They are ignoring to have subheadings with the page number. So this may decrease the readability of your thesis. And as of now, might be possible you are aware that government has made a rule for all the PhD candidates. After completion, they are supposed to submit their thesis in the Sodh Ganga. So it is widely referred by the people, not only from the India, not only from your state or your district, but it is through globally also. So you need to write your thesis in an internationally recognizable format, or it should be readable to them also. Don't consider your local college or group of colleges. Then, what are the certificates that you have taken for the approval from the body? You can attach it and this appendices part. We'll discuss in detail whenever we will reach to that part. So here it shows that you are supposed to refer the content. You are supposed to mention the contents in proper way. Now list of tables. Let's move to this one very quickly. Let's say You are supposed to list all the tables. You may have tables in a format like this. 1.1, if you are referring let's say you are having chapter 1. In this chapter 1, you are having 2 tables. So how to mention these 2 tables? Let's say 1.1, 1.2, and the title of this chapter, the title of this table, and mention the page number also. So likewise, you mention the tables for all the chapters. So this way, a reader can refer the chapter or its table very easily by moving to the page number. Yeah, if you find any question, any query, then you can interrupt me in between. I didn't check the chat window. Okay. Am I audible to us as of now?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, if you talk about the same way, just like list of tables, you are supposed to mention the list of figures also. Nowadays, if you, let's say whenever you are going to write your own thesis, you are referring the figures and tables of others as well. So just think about the reverse direction. So whatever the thesis you are writing, people want to refer your tables and figures into their own thesis, into their own research papers, review papers. So if you're giving it in a proper way, if you're listing it in proper way, then that reference, that number of references will be increased. So again, the same format for the figures also that has been suggested. Go for particular chapter and just give the number. Let's say for chapter 2, you are supposed to put 2 figures. Then just give the 2.1 for the first figure, then gives the title, that means caption here, and the page number, whatever you are supposed to refer. Same way for another figure within the same chapter. And if you are going to use, let's say you are having 2 figures in the chapter 2 only, and the third figure in chapter 3, then don't give the 2.3 as a number. Just give the number as 3.1. So by referring the figure number, a person can easily identify that this figure is available in chapter number 3 and it is available in page number 16. Somewhere, somehow, we are also using some symbols, abbreviations, and nomenclatures. So here, we are supposed to list that one also. So what are the abbreviations you are using there? It is suggested to give the meaning of that abbreviation. If you are using a kind of complicated symbols, then it is suggested to give the meaning of that one, because within the content, within the text itself, we are not supposed to define the use of that symbol. Let's say if you are using the flowchart, or if you are using any diagram, activity diagram and all, if you are going to use any abbreviation, let's say you are using the kind of DL, let's say it's a DL. So what is DL? If you are using AMP, what is AMP? If you are using WT, what is WT? So you are supposed to mention that abbreviation here and the meaning of that also. So whenever a person finds any difficulty during the reading, he or she may refer this abbreviation part, this symbol part, and they can understand the meaning of the statement that you have written in the text itself. If you refer the nomenclatures like here, like in some field, people are using the common word for the system. That word we are knowing, but the novice people does not know the meaning of that word. So you can go through that word meaning as well. And if possible, yeah, this is supposed to be difficult for people because it's a reverse process generally, then we should mention the page number where this has been used. Either it is symbol or abbreviation or what are the, let's say, number of abbreviations where you have used or particular abbreviation has been used in many pages. So reader can easily cross-verify it. Now let's move to the abstract part. Yeah, I already discussed about the kind of components related to thesis. One of these components is abstract. If you go for the abstract, with the abstract, generally with the single line itself, people knows about the purpose of the paper or thesis. So what is expected? You need to give the major summary of the result, or you are supposed to give the error limits as well within the abstract part. I think you will be agree with my statement that before referring any paper, any thesis, any synopsis, we first read the abstract. Am I right? Okay. That means we should carry on with the major implications of your work. Kind of sentences that gives you the full-fledged summary, starting of the work, the gap, the findings, and the loopholes or the challenges in a concise, readable, and quantitative manner. Few people are writing the abstracts in 2 to 3 pages. I refer that thesis also. Generally, the limit for the thesis is around 400 words. That can be in 1 to 2 paragraphs. Yeah, I also found, I don't know how that university is having their own policy. Generally, abstracts do not have any citations. I think you all know about the citations. The content that you are referring that has been published by others, and that published text you are writing into your own words. You are referring into your own words. That relates to the citation. But in abstract, please do not have any citation. Yeah, there are more chapters where you can have the citations, but please do not include any citation in abstract. Or somewhere, how it is found that people are also repeating the same title, whatever the thesis title is there, they're supposed to repeat the title in their abstract also. Do not do this, please. Because people knows about your title. They're interested to know about your thesis, interested to know about your paper. Now, let me clarify, once you follow this documentation, this may also help you to write a good research paper or review paper as well. Be explicit. Whatever you are going to discuss in the abstract, be explicit. Don't hide anything from your side. Be explored. And what are the findings you are supposed to have? Use that numbers in appropriate way as well. Don't hide that self. Let's say if you are going to increase the algorithm efficiency by 55%, then you may write the same statement there by comparing the results of so and so algorithm, by comparing the result of so and so tool, so and so mechanism. The proposed work highlights the 55% or around 55% efficiency compared to these techniques or algorithms. Generally, we may get the idea, or or people, those who are reading the thesis or paper, they may get that. They may have some questions. And your abstract should answer these questions, like, what did you do? Exactly what did you do in this work? This should be answered from your thesis, so from your thesis abstract. Then there must be an answer for why did you do it? And what questions were you trying to answer? Because every people, those who are doing the research, those who are doing the PhD, they have some research goal. They have some research gap. Why you are doing it? And next question, that how did you do it? So you should have the kind of methods to be highlighted into the abstract also. These are the really important questions that I get feel to be touched to my heart. What did you learn? So what are the major results? As far as, let's say, how did you do it? So what are the mechanisms you have used during your research? And what are the findings that you have with this research? And what are the findings you have did? Does it matter? In that case, you may have one of these significant implication also. So this is what the things that you should manage during the writing your abstract. But those who are supposed to write the abstract within 400 words limit, then these are some categories that can help you to write your abstract in a proper way. First, few statements related to the previous contribution. Means you may have the background statement. You should have the previous contributions made by other researchers and their shortcomings. So and so person has done this research and it has been found that he or she has restricted with this only. Then your aim for the research. Why did you undertake this research work? And what problems are you trying to address here? So the gap you already found in the background, and then you are supposed to highlight the problems. Then you may have the few statements related to your materials and methods. Describe your own mechanism that you have implemented for the research. And then write few statements related to the key findings. What are the objectives you have identified? Key findings related to that, and the comment for the same. And at the end, you may have your concluding remarks related to your study and comparison with the others as well, or the limitations of your study. So this way you may arrange your abstract, because I found that few abstracts are being started with the methodology directly. I use this mechanism to resolve this problem, and these are the results that have been found, and people are not aware about this, so I'm writing this in my paper and let's say thesis as well. So I suggest you to follow this structured way to write your abstract. This is the only reason, because at the starting of this session, I mentioned you that thesis writing is just not a 6 months early before completion of the degree. It's a beginning process. Once you start your PhD, let's say some few months, let's say 5 to 6 months has been gone, then you may start your thesis writing, because abstract is always going to be referred in the kind of documentation you are going to submit to the university during your committees, thesis committees, review committees like this. I also discussed about the graphical abstract. Generally, graphical abstract shows you the kind of mechanism that you are supposed to use during your study. Let's say in this study, this is the one of the thesis title. For this study, first, what is supposed to be considered? Original cover page. Let me read the content if you are unable to read it. Then encrypt image by some of the mechanisms. Then as a result, you are supposed to get the encrypted image. Then what is supposed to be done with this encrypted result? So this is what the research is being highlighted there. Now, once you are moving to this step, so from where you are supposed to get the data as well, then from this step to this step, how you are supposed to move. And once you move to this step, what will be the cases you are supposed to have. So this is a kind of graphical abstract that shows you the overall scenario of your study or of your thesis. So nowadays people are using the, I don't know what about the other universities, but many universities in outside India, they are also referring this same graphical abstract. You can easily search with the graphical abstract samples, and you may find lots of samples related to your domain for the graphical abstract. Because as you all know, people are having kind of impressions that whether should I refer this one or not. Let's have quick decision, because they are not having time to read full thesis. What I will get from this one? Is it feasible for me related to my study? Is it anything within this thesis or not? So this way, this graphical abstract may help that reader to move forward or to leave it as it is. Now, after completing the graphical abstract, you may have the introduction as a first chapter into your thesis. So from here, your chapters are being started. Here you need to have broad introduction to your topic and the methodology that you are supposed to use. Might be 1 or 2 pages or 3 pages as well. You may also highlight the research problem in more detail, because in abstract, whatever you are highlighting, that is with 1 or 2 statements only. Here, you are having this some greater space to introduce the research problem that you may have. You may also explain the details related to that as well. And if you want to explore that problem with the kind of review that you can do in the literature review part. Then in detail, you can mention the need for the research, why this research is needed. Not its own proposal, okay. The problem, why that person has gone for this particular research that has been highlighted here. Not the need of your research findings, okay. Here you need to find that why you are supposed to move to the particular research problem. Why you are supposed to work on this. And you may also mention the target audience who will get the benefit. And also you can discuss the contributions as well. We are also referring some definitions, standard definitions given by authors. That definitions can be mentioned in this introduction part. You may also define some terms related to your work that you are referring. And if you require, you may go for the more detail related to the research problem. So this highlights you about the introduction part. So as a summary, if I conclude here, for the introduction, you may have some space to highlight the problem, to highlight the resolution, why you are moving to this research, kind of definitions that you are supposed to refer throughout your study, or you may have referred, and at all. One of the important component for the research is literature review. People are writing the literature review into the form of sentences that are given by others in any thesis or any papers, research papers, review papers as well. Just copying it and pasting it directly into their own research thesis or paper. This is totally illegal, not only in India, but throughout the globe also. And that will be caught by the software you know very well. I think you have already gone through the Turnitin or Urkund that may identify the kind of plagiarism that may have within your content. I also found few students or few people as well, they are writing the kind of same statement with double quote format, because a kind of exception is there in the software like Turnitin. You may have learned that you may ignore the quotation marks from the plagiarism. So if you are using the double quotes for your statement, then that has been ignored by the software and you are being relaxed that you have not done any copy from others. But this is not the exact thing. I have also seen few cases where university has cancelled the degree of a particular candidate just because of this copy, this kind of plagiarisms. People knows that you are smart, but software may or may not get your smartness. But later on, whenever it is going to be caught, you are legally actionable because in the declaration part, as I already shown you in the beginning of the session, in the declaration part, you have mentioned that you have not done any kind of copy or any kind of content taken from any other classes. So here you are supposed to have the overview of the theoretical foundation. You can have the articles grouping. So you just mentioned the grouping part, you just mentioned the things related to the common ideas in a group. I think you already learned about the how to write review papers in the past session. So you may already explore this part. You may also mention the kind of model that other has used and you are reviewing that here. You may also mention the hypothesis related to the work that has been referred. You can also have some limitations that has been exposed by the people into the form of research paper or thesis. Next part, I believe that it's objectives. Objectives highlights the complete rationale of the study. So generally in many of the universities, they are stating that research scholar may have the objectives in the beginning of their research. So they may have to track what they have achieved till that particular date. Let's say after starting the degree, at the end of 1 or 1.5 years, what she or he has achieved, what she has did as far as research is concerned. So kind of, let's say this is one of the example for the objectives. Design and develop a separable and reversible stenography algorithm. So mention the wordings in such a way that you are not supposed to be caught in a wider scope. Because if you are writing here the wider statement, then people will argue that you have written here, you are going to prove all the mechanisms, but you have proven only single mechanism. You are going to fight with all the algorithms for particular technology, but you have only compared with a single. So don't write the wider statement here. So what are let's say I have mentioned here 2 objectives that are supposed to be completed at the end of the study. So write in such a way that, so during your review committee, you may discuss that I have completed the half portion of the research. Or during the reading of the thesis, people can understand that what is available in this thesis. Yes, materials and methods. What belongs in the method section exactly? This shows your own work, your own findings. So you are supposed to have information so that people can move to the results section by seeing your methodology. You may also describe the materials and procedures and theory that you have proposed, the kind of calculations, kind of equipment, or what are the limitations and assumptions you are having with your own study can be mentioned within materials and method section. So if you go into the analytical part, then you have the description of your analytical work here. You can also cite the work in this if you refer others' methods to compare your own proposed work. You may also mention the kind of materials that you have used, compounds or chemicals, if you belongs to the software and kind of applications, instruments, methods, whatever you have used, you can mention the things here, not in introduction, not in review of literature part. You may also give the kind of flowchart or kind of diagram for detailing your procedure, whatever the finding you have. Of course, you must describe the same procedure, same diagram, same flowchart in detailed text. Because what are the diagram you have done, what are the acronyms you have used, what are the wordings you have given within that diagram. It is not expected that novice people can easily get it directly. You may have this with the proving text. Yeah, many people are doing the mistakes. They are also writing the results in this materials and method section. Or people sometimes say method section, methodology section. These are the kind of synonyms that you are finding. Don't write the results there, please, because there will be a separate section related to result. Yes, of course, you may refer the tables or diagrams that you have given in the result section. Like here, the results of the biochemical analysis are tabulated in this table 4.1 and depicted in 4.2, figure 4.2 like this. Let me clarify again. You are not supposed to write tables and figures here related to the result. But you can have a referring statement within this. What should be answered from this materials and method section? Say, you must have your own policy for others to use to restrict your own methodology or not. If you are neglecting others to copy it directly, you can mention that. Because nowadays, the system is moving there. Let's take the methodology of others. Let's have some malfunctioning. Let's have some modification into that, and let's have our own research. So you can mention here that could anyone replicate your results? Could anyone use your methodology? Or could any other research have their own findings can be related with this one or not? Generally, we are allowing because this is for the person. This is for the persons who are doing the research, or this is for the persons who are referring this for their research contributions to the world. See, let me clarify again. Materials and methods is a kind of section where you are supposed to mention your own work. So here, citations are very limited. Say for example, limited to data sources or a kind of procedure that you have referred for your methodology. Do not write full-fledged kind of number of statements, let's say 15, 20 or 100. More than that. I have seen few theses where hundreds of statements are written with this citation. That should be exactly into the review of literature section. Again, I am repeating here, do not include description of the results here. Do not write the descriptions of the results. This description goes into the result section. So let's say about the result section. Results are actual statements or observations. What are the findings you have done into the form of statistics, tables, graphs? You can mention into this. Then sometimes, as already discussed in the starting of the session, that we are expecting the positive results always. It's not necessary. You may have the negative results as well. So people may try to work with or to create their own results, to misinterpret it, so they can have the positive finding. Don't do this, because if you are writing the wrong results here, those people who are referring your thesis paper, they may lead to the wrong research as well. So you are misguiding the community as well. Of course, this result section is a kind of section where jury members, means the evaluators of your thesis during the thesis review committee, or experts, those who are reviewing your thesis, they are interested to know the findings that you have did. So work very accurately, provide the sufficient details that may draw your own inference with your own explanations. Sometimes it has been found that people are missing the SI units. I think you know about the SI units. It's an international system of units or kind of matrix systems, unit of measure, let's say ms for millisecond, s for second, kg for kilogram, w for watt, like this. So people are just forgetting to write these units, SI units, names to be written with the figure as well as in tables as well. So, let's say in this results, you may find here. Okay. Yeah, here you can find here. You are just writing the kind of relationship, kind of statement, and then we are moving to the different way. Let's say I'm just moving to the kind of table that I have worked for you, like here. So here, this graph works with the seconds. So if you are not writing here second, so people may not get the idea about this number. What is exactly this number? Is it in second, kilogram, or anything else? So it is advisable to write SI units for this. You are supposed to break up the results into logical segments, or you can divide the results into different parts. So findings with the sub-statement. And be narrative. Don't be informative, like don't have less information. Let's say you are supposed to have comparison with this, then write a statement. Let's say have positive relationship with y-axis having this with this as a parameter and this as a value. Don't say like there is a significant relationship between x and y only. Next part, discussion. So we are moving to the ending of the thesis part now. Here you are having the space for the discussion related to the result. What are the principal findings you have did? Write that findings here. But please be sure it should be in limited number of statements. Yeah, people are expected to have your strength and weaknesses for the study. So you must mention this strengths and weaknesses, what are the being found in this. People are trying to ignore the weaknesses. Don't do this, because the weaknesses will be always found through reading. So if you are mentioned here, then it is easy for the reader. Yes, you can also relate the strengths and weaknesses to other studies as well in the discussion part. You can also have some related unanswered questions, meanings of the study, or the future research work. So in short, I can say that you have clear, factual, and supported content related to findings from the results, and then into the form of its discussion here. So you are supposed to have correlation of your findings to other people findings here. Let's say one of the example for this one is that on the basis of experiment results given in chapter 4, it has been analyzed this PSNR value is this, and kind of finding is this. Compared to the gray image, it is found that having 0.50% more than embedded ratio like this. So you can have the discussion in such a way that so people can have what are the findings with the results, they can be thoroughly referred here. At the end, conclusion. So don't be narrative with the conclusion. It should be linked with your goals. So what are the objectives you have given at the starting of the study? That should be highlighted here, whether you have achieved that one or not. And be limited with your study boundaries, please. Don't move outside your study. Whatever you are supposed to have with your study related to that statement should be mentioned here. And the kind of statements that are not relevant, that are totally unqualified with your work, or conclusions that are not completely supported by your data, don't mention here, please. Because this may again misguide the reader. If you are referring such thesis, and if you, let's say you are a reader, right? You may have been misguided by others as well. So it should be in your case as well. Sorry. So kind of conclusion that has been referred here. Next part is the references. You may have the, there is again a question, what will be the number? Again, I am telling you, it is not in the quantity, it is with the quality as well. So there are few mechanisms to give your references. Like Harvard system says that you may have the references into the alphabetical form rather than chronological form. Like Vancouver system says that you may have the references number into the order in which they are first mentioned in the text. So whatever you have mentioned in the text as a first citation, you may refer here as your first reference. So that will give you, like university may guide you about the same, whatever the university you belong. They will already clarify you about this one. Then you may have the references with the tables. So you can have the parentheses related to that one also. Let's say this is what the order has been referred. Now the question is how we can get the exact format for the references. This will really help you. Let's say you can refer the Google Scholar, where you can go for the scholar.google.com, and there you can have the title of the paper, then go for search. So Google Scholar will give you the majority of the papers are being highlighted there. So you are not supposed to customize it. It will give you directly the form that your university is expecting. Like there is a link called site. So you can refer this site link here. So by clicking on this link, you will get this message box, this window. So whatever the system is being referred by your university, you can refer this one. What is the benefit by referring this format? The benefit is that this person will be cited, the citation, number of citations will be increased for this paper, as well as the people, those who are referring your papers, your content, by that your citations will be increased. Yeah, there are few softwares as well you can refer, like Mendeley Desktop. It's available for free, or EndNote. You need to purchase it, or you can go through the searching and you can refer that reference manager as well. For Mendeley, you can refer a YouTube like this. It will provide you the fully tutorial related to that Mendeley software as well. So this may remove your headache for the citation by referring this scholar.google.com reference link. You are supposed to have list of publication, as I mentioned in the starting of the session. So this way, you are attracting the people to refer your papers as well, to cite your papers in their own study. And then you can upgrade your research profile to this. So this is again an expected one. As far as the last section is concerned, let's say appendices, here you're supposed to provide these different certificates, like for people, those belongs to the pharmaceutical or any medical science. They are having some medical certificates, some clinical certification. So based on that certificate, they are allowed to start the research. So in that case, you must put that certificate copy here, because to authenticate your result, to authenticate your findings to the people at the global level, this shows that you are going with the authorized institutions, authorized organizations, not alone you have done at your level. Or you may have other any relevant certificate copy here. To have more citations, I suggest you to put the first page copy of your publications as well. Only first page copy, because it highlights you the title, journal, and conferences, whatever is related to that. So what are the number of publications you are having? You can go through that publication. Let's say A, B, C, up to whatever the numbers you are having. Just give this first page copy, just attach it so people can refer. Suppose you are having 3 papers out of 5 papers in reputed Scopus Index journal. So people will be agreed with your research as well. They will have some reputations about your research that this person is having 3 papers related to this study in a reputed highest or higher impact factor journal. So whatever you are mentioning in this study, that is not the limited part. You are supposed to attract the readers as well. Some style and format, let's say, some suggestions from my side. Generally, thesis should be written in past tense and try to ignore I, we, wordings like this. You are supposed to have your written content in error-free English mode. At the starting of the PhD, few scholars have come that, sir, my English is not that much strong. Am I able to write the thesis? So that means, am I able to do my research? So people are working hard for the research, but they are not able to write their thesis properly. So in that case, they may improve their skills, or they may hire some professional editor, those who are providing the editing services, or they may use the professional programs as well, like Grammarly.com. And it is advisable from my side, check it properly before submitting your thesis. Yeah, there are some cases where we are using some wordings into the form of US English, some wordings into the form of UK English. Make sure which one is applicable for university. And based on that, have your own word set, MS Word setting, if you are using the MS Word for writing your thesis. Artwork, like people are doing some fancy artwork to have some attraction. Don't put that artwork if it does not contribute to the methodology or outcome of your research. Because here you are not participating in artwork. Generally, the thesis is being written in the 1.5 line spacing and having proper line spacing for tables and figures as well as having margin left as 1.5, because you are supposed to have hardbound, so it requires some space, as well as 1 inch in the other corners like right top and bottom. Majority of the cases, thesis will be in always justified form. Otherwise, university may suggest you in a different form. Okay. One question is, which are the places where present tenses should be used? A good question, I can say. See, whenever you are going to refer the methodology that already exists, that is in running mode, the people, those who are doing the research, they are in ongoing research, where you can use the present work because that work has not been completed. Yeah, partial work has been done, but the full part has not been done. So in that case, you can refer the present tense. So it is limited because generally what we are doing, we are referring the papers from let's say 1995, 2000, 2001, or then 2020 and 2019, then 2020, 2021. So in that case, there is no changes is expected. So in that case, you can go through the past tense. But what I mentioned about the present tense, you can go for that one. Now, I think I answered your question. Okay, fine. Now, related to the citation. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. All references within the text must be cited. If you are referring any content from others, please cite it. Citing means don't get the direct sentence into your own thesis. Don't do that. You are supposed to rephrase it. You are supposed to rewrite it. In majority of the cases, we are using the references that are being cited, like we are using the and this for reference. If you are having, let's say, reference for single paper, you can use the few universities or few journals are referring square brackets, few are referring round brackets. So refer that terminology and refer that. If you are referring two papers or two resources, then give the comma. And if you are referring first sequences, let's say few sequences in an order, then you can refer the and dash. Don't have dash. It is and dash. You know about the and dash. It's equivalent to length with the character letter A. And you can get it with the control plus dash with the name numpad dash. You may have the section headings and subheadings. Let's say this is your section, this is your headings, and this is your subheading. So number it properly. Let's say section 2 is there, then 2.1, then 2.1.1 will be in that sequence. Yeah, there are some norms for the font as well, so that it is going to be readable to all, like this one. For tables, figures, or equation, like tables should be centrally aligned, figures should be centrally aligned, and must be within the margin. If you are going to use the large size figure, large size in the term of, let's say, image size is having higher resolution, then you can reduce the size to fit into your content, but please be sure you are not going to lose the resolution for the image. Yeah, people, those who are using the figures and tables, they forget about the font as well. So you must use the fonts that are relevant to your thesis within your tables and figures also. These are some key remarks that must be managed. Otherwise, thesis may look somewhat ugly compared to others. You may have the captions exactly the same where you are referring the list of tables and list of figures. So people know very well about this. For example, this one. Here table is on the top part, heading in the top part and table next to this. And here figure is the top part and heading is next to this in a central part. And you can refer the tables and figures or equations with these naming like this: table 4.1, figure 4.1. Because 4.1 will be into the form of table as well as figure also. So don't say whatever given in 4.1. You must mention the thing like this or this one. Both are applicable. Like whatever this is the sample that I have taken from one of the thesis. For equation, you can give the equation number based on the chapter you are referring. Let's say in chapter 5, you are supposed to have one equation. Then the equation number will be like this, 5.1. And at the time of referring that equation, you can refer like this. EQ dot 5 space 5.1. Now, a question like what should be the length? See, write for brevity rather than length. So whatever you have targeted should be covered, should be readable, should be useful to the people. Don't put unnecessary things, unnecessary repeated, or whatever the irrelevant things are there. You are supposed to ignore that one. Just to increase the number of pages, let's put this content. Don't do this one, please. This reduces the quality of your thesis. You're writing for the audience. So who are your audience? Researchers who are working in your fields or in the world as well. Researchers who are working in the field area, your area, but with different techniques. Researchers, those who are working with the same interval of geologic time or in the world as well. So these are the target audience for whom you are writing the thesis. Then you must answer these people. Of course, the last one is potential reviewers for whom you are also writing this thesis, because they are going to review your thesis. They are going to evaluate your thesis. They are going to assess your thesis. And based on that, you are supposed to be decided whether you are going to clear your PhD or not, whether you're going to clear your degree or not. So keep in mind about the audience as well. So these are the references that I have referred. And thank you all for cooperating me with this session. Yeah, if any of you have any questions related to this, please let me know.
There is a question in the chat box.
Yeah, sir. In thesis, it is a mandatory to write mathematical model and its equations to be quantified or not. See, if you are referring any of the model, if you are referring any of the equation, then it must be mentioned within your thesis, because you are trying to prove that you have referred you are going to conclude your research finding based on the equation what so and so person has given. So the reader is not going to refer so and so person thesis or so and so person paper just to check that equation. Let's take this reverse scenario. If you are writing this statement, are the readers for your thesis will go in that paper or thesis? No, because they are not having that much time to search for that people findings, whether it is into the form of thesis, paper, review paper and all. So it is advisable to put each and every equation or model that you are referring within your thesis. Yeah, you can cite it. Don't forget to cite it. If you are taking the model directly from others, then please cite it. Don't forget to cite it, because I have rejected few of the theses just because of lacking with the number of citations. So of course, people in the globe, they are also referring the same fundamentals. They are not accepting the work if you are not citing it. Yeah, any question? I think I have answered your question, sir.
Yes, sir. Any
Yeah,
other questions from the participants?
Yeah, please.
Mute and speak. I think no other questions. Sir, I have one question actually.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please,
Yeah.
sir.
Now, which tool we can use for preparing the thesis to make every citations or formatting things to make it easy? Do you
Sir,
suggest any
generally,
tools? Yeah.
yeah, sir. Generally, like people, more than 90% of people are referring either MS Word or LaTeX. And if you go to the university procedure, they are trying to use the LaTeX or MS Word. Like for people, they are having special subjects, special credits for the LaTeX as well in few of the universities as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, is there any question more?
Let me summarize the whole session, sir.
Sure, sir.
So it's really a wonderful session for the, especially useful for the research scholars. So you have explained each and every part of the thesis, what exactly the contents need to be included in contents of the abstract, content of the introduction part, over literature review, materials and method, research discussions. You have also mentioned and given detailed information on how it need to be formatted, and by giving the examples, live examples from the thesis as such. You also mentioned about the style, formatting styles, artwork, thesis length. You have also given appendix, how it should be written, and what are the things that we can include as a part of this. So behalf of the St. Joseph Engineering College and the organizing team, we thank for your wonderful session, sir. So spending your valuable time with us really helpful for us, especially the research scholars will helpful from this particular session. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm also thankful to the college and the organizers team for inviting me for such a session, sir. And yeah, of course, whatever you mentioned, I have just targeted the research scholars because they are supposed to write the thesis or the guide that are guiding the scholars to write their thesis. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all the participants for.
Yeah, thank you all the participants for cooperating me throughout the session.
Okay. Thank you, one and all. We'll meet tomorrow 9:30 for the session on journals and other metrics by Dr. Shivaram B.S. NAL, Bengaluru. Thank you.